You're watching Talk Minute, and I'm your CJ. Welcome back to another album review. And today's album review or fan perspective is of Kataklysm Goliath, 15th studio album by the band Kataklysm, one of the greatest in melodic death metal. Has their own unique sound and everything. And I thought I'd just go into this one because I'm a huge fan of this band, and whenever a band that I'm huge into releases, I always like to discuss it. Always like to either recommend it or just now talk about it. But yeah, I recommend this album. Kataklysm is back with another great album to add to its monstrous and destructive discography. This album carries on the sound that they have built for themselves, aka the more extreme and ballsy form of melodic death metal, with groove laced in there for good measure. Not a whole lot of groove metal to this stuff, but they kind of throw some groove elements in there. The tone of this record is bouncy and intense, giving fans the form of death metal some like. You either hate it or love it with the bouncy guitar tone. A lot of the Swedish death metal did that back in the day, and a lot of melodic death metal now does that. You either like it or don't. And for the ones that like it, it's basically ear candy. It's amazing. The vocals are like no other. Screaming Kataklysm all the way. You know exactly what band you're listening to, and yeah, what band you're listening to. This album reminds me of their 2004 album Serenity and Fire, with that sound that this album has. It just has such a bite to it. They just have such a bite to the guitar tone and the riffs. Just killer. Overall, very enjoyable. I would definitely recommend checking this one out. It's worth your time. Like any of the Kataklysm records are worth your time. Even the older ones that are not melodic death metal or straight death metal. Very good band. All of them are worth your time, including the new one. Standouts, I did go with 5 here. I usually go with 5. Sometimes I go with 6, 7, 8. However many I just feel like, and 5 would be good for this album. Dark Wings of Deception from the start. The instrumentals, it sounds like the Kataklysm sound we love. The riffs on this sound are straight on the attack and ferocious. Goliath, no wonder this is the title track. The song is brutal from start to finish. One of my favorites on this album. Die as a King. The riffs on the song are chaotic, melodic at the same time. It's a brutal experience. It's worth every minute. The Redeemer. The main thing I like about this song is all the different intricate parts it has, and yeah, they all complement each other. This is my favorite song on this album. I definitely think The Redeemer is the best song that they've had on this album. Maybe one of the best songs that they've ever done. It's very layered. It has a lot of like different parts to it that I love. Yeah, Gravestones and Coffins, one of the most melodic songs in this album, and impossible not to mention here. And yeah, it was a fast review. I got through it pretty fast. I've seen this band live once before. I've seen them with Deicide back in, I think, last year. Yeah, last year, 2022. It was at one of my local venues. They're pretty great live as well. Inhuman Condition was also their great live band as well. You should check these guys out if you've never. I know they kind of fall under the radar in death metal at some points, and some people just, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kataklysm. I've always been, ever since I started out in death metal. So yeah, that's what I think of this album. I think it's worth checking out, and you should. You're definitely missing out if you don't. And yeah, I'll see everyone whenever I decide to upload ever again. And yeah, that'll be next week. Might be tomorrow, might be next week. I don't know.